lost 2 walkie-talkies.
Let's see, we've lost 2 walkie-talkies, 1 stove, 1 chair, 1 collar, a pad, and who knows what else.
Several
3 horses.
Yuck, no, Elisheba, no, yucky.
Are you filming the fact that we
Take that
lost everything we brought?
Ellie, did you learn from Uncle Sean how to eat garbage?
Somebody take it away.
Oh, Ellie.
Day 9, we're just outside of Ingomar. We're hoping to make it to Miles City. It's the last big town, so we wanted to pull in there with a 6-up team before dark. At this point, things were working like a well-oiled machine. Had it figured out pretty good.
We started just putting some of the harness on the back of the trucks that seemed to not get tangled up quite as much.
Quick way to get a big pad off of one of those horses.
Somewhere along the way we lost one of our collar pads. I don't know if it blew off or what, but then we had to start shuffling them around, so it took a little longer harnessing and unharnessing.
Hey, get the next team over here. Deal.
There's a cattle guard up there just a couple of feet from, we didn't realize it until after we switched, or a couple hundred yards or whatever up the road. So the coach is up there, the trailer, we're going to trailer the horses across or whatever. And Zeke's back behind me. We didn't have enough people to leave this team because they needed to cool off. So they're getting cooled off as we drive down with the 2 trucks.
Even though we had to cross a few cattle guards and breathe a little dust, the gravel road was well worth it. It was a lot easier on the horses. Nice to avoid all the traffic too.
I think I hear them. Oh, yeah, I definitely hear them. Told you. Oh, cut it out.
This gravel road etched its way through the fields of Rosebud County. These fields were once part of the open range in Montana Territory, and in 1886 helped support around 500,000 head of cattle. The harsh winter of 1886 brought drastic changes, however. Frigid temperatures and starvation were said to have claimed around 60% of the open range cattle. This drove cattlemen to begin putting land into hayfields in order to guarantee their herd's winter survival. This region's drier climate made hay production challenging. Though many were able to get by on dryland farming, the presence of water in the nearby Yellowstone River was beckoning. Ditches and irrigation systems were being put in as early as 1883. These ditches continued to provide farmers and ranchers the greatly valued resource of water to this day. The ditches also provided a valuable thing to our team swappers, and that was entertainment.
Hey, everyone come watch. Together as everybody selected their choice rocks. Alright.
Not this deer.
So far we have no skippers.
Hey Yost, can you check where's the baby? Is she standing in the road? Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure she doesn't go over to the horses.
Kerplunk. Kerplunk.
No, Kerplunk. I release myself.
Oh, you're even worse.
Like the one that's gonna win. This here
Kerplunk. Every time I say kerplunk, it works. Let me see it. Oh, wow. Okay, help me find rock now.
We weren't sure with Ellie how she would take to the trip and all of that, but she did really well. She kind of rolled with it, and as long as she got a little bit of time to run around in between its stops and some time to ride on the coach and nap time in the truck, she stayed pretty happy.
Probably stuff she won't remember when she gets older, but she can always look back on it. Be a pretty big deal. We're running quite a bit ahead of schedule. We weren't going to take a break.
We're almost off the gravel, aren't we?
We got a little ways, but we're getting close.
And then we did take a break. So after a break, we only had about 10 miles left to go to get to Miles City.
Alright, Rosie, shine. Step up. Good morning.
We stopped just outside of Miles City because we wanted to hook up the 6-up team so we could drive into there in style. It was going pretty smooth coming into Miles City, but we had a little miscommunication with the guys that were going up to find the rodeo grounds, so we ended up turning just at the intersection headed toward North Dakota. We went about a mile out of our way, we were almost out of town, and they finally caught up to us.
It was a bad time to get turned around. We had some folks from a magazine waiting for us at the fairgrounds in Miles City. We did finally make it.
It's been a lot of fun and definitely a lot. Learned a lot. About your horses, about yourself, what are you learning?
With 75 miles and another long day behind us, we settled into the rodeo grounds in Miles City for the night.
Day 10, we had our sights set on Baker. If we can make it there by that evening, that would put us 12.5 miles from the North Dakota border.
Okay, 94 goes to the left. Just follow 94, it comes up here, it turns right, and it looks like a 12. Okay.
Camille, step up.
The coach was rolling along through a peaceful Montana morning. Making a coach run through this part of the country in the 1800s would have been a great deal more nerve-wracking. This route would have been deep in Sioux Indian Territory, a tribe that was known for its hostility. An 1879 article in the Yellowstone Journal highlighted the danger. Settlers on the Yellowstone should come ready to accept in full needs his share of ups and downs. The woodcutter on the riverbank, the teamster directing his train, the ranchman watching his herd, the traveler following the roads through the jagged badlands, recognizes the constant possibility of danger from hostile Indians. It is a poor place for constitutional cowards to come. Men of delicate nature, overstocked with nerves, had better remain in the East. Traveling peace of mind wasn't the only 21st century luxury we were enjoying. In the 1800s, water crossings in a coach would have been a bit of an ordeal. In the best circumstances, the coaches would have been ferried across deep rivers. In many places, however, ferries were not to be found, and for this reason, Concord coaches were designed to keep water out so that they could be floated across high water. We were happy to rely on concrete and modern engineering for our crossings.
One thing we could maybe do with, if we wanted to try and drive Bailey again, is just on the next downhill, hook them up and then just drive, and if we get to any kind of climb, park, no matter how far it is, hook up the next team.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's even worth messing with it though.
Earlier on in the trip, Bailey had injured her eye. We'd been doctoring it the whole time. And as we started getting out towards the end of the trip, she also started to develop a little bit of a sore on her neck. Weren't sure if another horse kicked her or whatnot, but so we'd been taking it easier on her, just making sure she didn't have to pull a lot of pills, but there towards the end we pretty much had to completely phase her out. We didn't drive her much at all the last day just to keep from making her too sore.
When you take a trip like this and you're all together in close quarters and stressful situations for a long period of time, you always kind of wonder when the grumpy side of people is going to come out and who's going to have that grumpy side. Shy, is John grumpy yet?
Huh?
Is John grumpy yet?
Not yet.
Are you grumpy yet?
Not yet.
Is anybody grumpy yet?
I hope not.
Are you sure?
I mean, no. Are you here?
John, are you grumpy yet?
No.
Is Shy grumpy yet?
Oh yeah.
What about anybody else?
Very ungrumpy today.
Is anybody grumpy for him? Oh, come on. Are you grumpy? Sheila, you're twitching. Alright, Zach. Do you feel like you're grumpy?
No.
Is anybody else grumpy?
I haven't noticed. I'm Mr. Big Cheese.
It's alright. Are you grumpy, Zeke? No?
What?
You're grumpy.
No, not grumpy.
Is anybody else grumpy?
It don't look like anyone else's grumpy to you.
Even though it was long days and everybody was tired, we kept the grumpiness at bay with a little bit of humor.
Of course. They're fine with it.
Good afternoon, folks. My name is Alyssa Strain, and I'm here today with Zachary Strain, and we're going to ask him a few questions about what it's like to take a trip across Montana. So, Zach, what do you feel is like the number one thing that you've learned from this trip that you just keep in mind?
There's a lot of hours going into this. People aren't getting much safety.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, we don't need anybody getting hurt.
Yeah, that's
sure.
huge.
So waiting beside the road I thought would be more of a boring part, but it ended up being a good time to bond with family and friends, because that's what we do best.
Every mile got us closer to the border, but also neared the end of the trip. Kind of brought a bittersweet feeling because wanted to get it done, but at the same time, kind of just hoping to drag it out as long as we could. 81 miles brought us to Baker, Montana, just a stone throw from the North Dakota border. So close, we almost thought about pushing through that night, but it just wouldn't have been worth the extra wear and tear on the animals just to see it in the dark anyway, which meant finishing this dream was going to have to wait till morning.